Welcome to the Tech Jail podcast channel. Thank you for listening and subscribe through Apple Podcasts to continue listening, Spotify, or whichever service you're on. And thank you for listening.
Microsoft 365 is changing. As of today, August 1st, there's a new announcement about Office 365 for education and Microsoft 365 for education plans. As you might know, both of them are now Microsoft 365, but there is a big change that Microsoft is getting rid of. So the Office A1 Plus, so it's still branded as A1 Plus right now. Some subscriptions might say Microsoft 365 A1 Plus, but for the most, it'll say Office 365 A1 Plus. That subscription, as of next year, August next year, will no longer be available because of different changes within subscription services. As well, Microsoft will be pulling in pooled storage, and for all A1, A3, and A5 subscribers for Microsoft 365 and Office 365 plans. Yes, it's a big change. So pooled storage will actually be the idea, and Google Workspace recently did this as well. You will share storage across your whole tenant, and you'll start with an initial amount of storage across your whole organization, and then after you finish that storage capacity, so then you're also going to get X amount of storage based on how many users are paid as teachers and education providers plans. Student use benefits will not increase the amount of space. So right now, there's a 40-to-1 ratio. So for every teacher or paid subscriber, you get 40 student use benefits. So that's for Microsoft 365, that's for Office benefits, and so much more. That will not be changing, but the pooled storage will be coming into place. So let's take a look a little bit about why they're getting rid of A1 Plus and the changes that will be coming out, because it's a big change for Microsoft 365 partners, and it's a big change for education customers as well. It's a big change which will impact licensing as well. A1 Plus was only meant as originally from Microsoft documentation. It was meant for a migration path for IT admins to make it easier to migrate to Microsoft 365 from Google Workspace and prior subscriptions that they might have used. But what's been actually occurring is with A1 Plus, now it's being used as a permanent license because it was at no cost, it didn't have any risks, and it provided Office to all students that they would normally have through a desktop license. And Microsoft wants to instead be able to charge some money for subscriptions through A3 and A5 student use benefits. So, or with A3 and A5 for educators and payment for that. So within the new A1, so all subscriptions that were priorly A1 Plus, which were unlimited for organizations that had all paid staff, now they're going to need the A3 or A5 student use benefits or A3 and A5 assigned. A1, the regular A1 without the desktop license will continue to be free as well, but there's a new caveat that they can only use a max of 100 gigs of OneDrive space from that 100 terabyte of pooled space that we were talking about before. So, and as we were talking about before, all A1 Plus subscriptions will expire as of August 1st, 2024. And we're also going to look at when moving the cloud, um, Microsoft's also saying that data is proliferated for end of life, uh, and that there's a lot of data that's being used in education and across all tenants that's just being stored there for no reason. It's not being used, and it's actually bad on the environment, which makes kind of sense because we've been using server farms so much overuse. And based on in 2020 alone, 4% of global green gas emissions and electricity consumption, based on their studies, um, stated that dark data was that was based on dark data taking up space on their servers. So, with the new plans, Microsoft's mission is and continues to be to empower students, staff, and schools to achieve more. To achieve this mission, Microsoft, in their words, continues to innovate on new technology, tools, and services for educators, such as the new learning accelerators, which were introduced earlier this year to help students with reading and other essential skills. Today, Microsoft provides Office 365 and Microsoft 365 for Education Suite built for education through free software grants or significant discounts off commercial pricing. With these new updates, Microsoft can continue to invest in meaningful innovation while offering these services to more institutions around the world. So, so according to the studies that they've been doing, most schools, 99.96% of tenants, are well below their current storage allotment. With the new pricing, they'll actually save money and as the customers, and there'll be new software for governance, so you can kind of see how much you want to give to each student or teacher. So that's a big change that we haven't looked at before with Microsoft 365. And as well, you can always purchase additional Microsoft 365 A3 and A5 licenses for staff that are currently not covered under another license, which will continue to stay working. So your four options um, today will be so you can continue to use the A1 free subscriptions. That's online Office 365 apps, collaboration, classroom tools. Two, you can today license student use benefits for A3 and A5 at a ratio of 4:1, as we were talking about, and as well, if you have a light subscription need, you also can add the Office Desktop add-on license or use an Office 365 A3 license. So that's a bit of a difference, but it will make a difference. More information will be available soon. But the public announcement is here, so now we can provide that information to you. So, with pooled storage, what you're going to do is for each of your paid subscribers, they're going to get 50 to 100 gigs of pooled space for A3 and A5 subscriptions. I believe it doesn't specify right now, but I'm guessing 50 gigs for A3, 100 gigs per for A5. So that goes into the pool that then they could use. So if you take that 100 terabytes and then calculate how many paid subscribers you have, then that will give you a better idea. Um, and it will also be easier for licensing. So let's say you've got some students or some staff that are executive teams or they need to support more resources. You're always going to have the option to give them some more space. Well, let's say someone like a grade 1, grade 2, grade 3 student doesn't need, they don't need 5 terabytes of storage. In fact, most of your staff and students probably don't need that much storage. Yes, they might have it currently, but they not need it. I know from my end, when I used to have an education account, I still have my own, but when I was within one of the school boards, I think I used, and this is because I was doing work for executive teams and stuff, that it was, I was using maybe 250 gigs of that storage. So, and that was for school stuff and stuff for the school board. So it wasn't excessively high, but I think that in that kind of case, you can kind of give some users more. But then I also had some students I knew that were using five gigs, 3 gigs, and that was doing other office documents, backing everything up, and they still had no issues. So that was kind of it depended on the person. So it really depends. And we'll be providing more information soon. But their storage updates will come into but the storage impacts will be coming into place starting February 1st, 2024 at the earliest, but it will apply starting your next subscription period. So if you're currently in a multi-use subscription, it won't take place until your subscription is completed. At least that's what it says according to the documents I have right now, and that is subject to change. More information will be provided at that time when we can support it. Yeah, so that gives you a bit of an idea. And yeah, we're going to take a break now, and we'll be back soon. Thanks.
Thank you for listening, and make sure to subscribe using Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or whichever service you're using. As well, tune in at any time to find out our new podcast episodes and more. Thank you for listening, and have a great day, night, or even any time of day. We're available 24/7 every day of the week. Thank you.